Eric Bakker, the naturopath. Thanks for coming back. I hope I've rectified some of my sound problems. So my apologies for all my viewers and listeners out there who've had problems hearing me speak. I've just discovered that my microphone, my settings were right down low, so I've just cranked them right up. So now it might be too loud for you guys out there. So if I'm yelling and screaming, let me know and I'll back off. I've also just ordered a microphone, a USB plug-and-play microphone, so hopefully that will really improve my sound. So my apologies again for all those listeners who have problems hearing my voice. So today, again, as per each week, I've got quite a few videos I want to go through. I've been asked several times by people over the years to create a video for travel. You know, what are some of your tips when you go traveling? What are some of the things that you would recommend I do, to help me prevent me getting gut issues or infections or things like that? So let's talk about that. Let's look at 7 easy things that you can do to make it your journey more comfortable, and also to stop you getting sick, so you don't have to spend a couple of weeks in the bathroom, when you come back home. Because I can tell you guys out there, I've had patients from now 60 countries. I've heard it all. I've got people who've been holidaying, every place in the world: Antarctica, Greenland, Iceland. I mean, you name the land, I know someone who's probably out holidaying that land. So, and of course, air travel is becoming so affordable for so many people. So I call it the parasite exchange program, because we're actually exchanging parasites with people all around the world. So, but I'll show you how not to exchange parasites or get them from people, all right? We'll talk about that now. Number 1, okay, out of 7. Plan ahead. So where are you going on your trip? Are you going to go to Zimbabwe? Are you going to go to Antarctica? Are you going to go to New York City? So depending where you go, you may think, what are the right kind of steps to take so I don't fall, victim to some type of illness, disease, or problem? So, we're going to go over other things, but plan ahead. So you really need to know where you're going. If you're going, for example, to LA or to Vegas or New York, it's probably a slightly different scenario than if you're going to Vietnam, or China or countries like that. We're going to talk a lot more about parasite, to be careful with parasites in other countries, but you still need to be careful in the US or any other country, because people travel widely. So the person you bump into in the street could have just come off a flight from Nairobi or something, or could have just come back from Kazakhstan, or you just don't know who that person was in contact with. So, but plan ahead, work out where you're going to. Right? So people going to the tropics tend to, in my opinion, need to take things a little bit differently than people who are going to the circles, the Arctic circles, for example. The colder you are, there's likelihood you're going to be suffering from certain types of parasites. So it's not just parasites, it's bacteria and yeast that we need to be concerned about. So tropics can make a big difference, which we're going to in a minute. Okay, so you've got to plan ahead. Number 2, be careful of airports and also public transport and places where many, many people frequent. Now, I'm not expecting you to be like Michael Jackson and wear white gloves and don't touch anything, or like Howard Hughes and have your own silver knife that you carry with you to cut a sandwich because you don't trust other people's blades and stuff. You don't need to be anal about, about hygiene, but you do need to be on high alert, all right? No different than you'll be on high alert carrying your wallet or purse, on your being, in case a pickpocket gets it. You just need to have your wits about you, think about what you're doing. So when you get off the airplane, for example, the first thing I tend to do is go straight to the bathroom. I wash my hands thoroughly, and I like to just clean my hands because I've touched so many surfaces, So just be careful, because all you need to do is touch a surface in an airport where 50,000 other people have touched, Next thing that you're touching something to eat and you're eating that, or you're touching your eye, or another body part, and that's how you can easily transfer a parasite, for example, or a bacteria. It's easy to do. Also showers. Be careful if you're going to have showers, in places like that, airports or things like that. So, and often they'll supply, slippers or things that you can wear, because you can pick up tinea and fungal diseases in some of these places if you're not careful. But don't be anal, okay? I carry my own soap, for example. I carry a cake of tea tree soap that I will use if I travel. And if I've had a really long haul and I'm tired, I will have a shower and I'll use my own soap, and I'm quite happy doing that. So careful of airports, because they are a place where, even though a lot of cleaners are, it's easy for you to touch surfaces and pick up an infection. So be sure you wash your hands. Simple thing, Hand washing is probably one of the most important things you can do when you travel, all right? It's so simple. When I studied medicine, I can remember one of the doctors, I think it was one of our first classes, explaining about infectious disease control, saying what's the most important thing you can do to prevent infection. And then someone out the back yelled, antibiotics, and then I said, well, what about hand washing? And then the guy said, that's right, hand washing is the number one thing you can do, so don't forget to wash your hands, all right? So also be careful, passports and handling money and things like that, because money is quite a dirty substance, all right? Number 3, your supplements. When you go traveling, you may have some dietary supplements that you want to take with you. Just be sure that you get a letter from a naturopath or a doctor or somebody, because I've had many occasions where people have had supplements taken off them and dumped in the trash. So particularly if you're going for a long period of time and you've got 5 or 6 bottles of X, Y, Z, whatever you're taking, check-in is okay, but even at the check-in, it could be taken off you. So you may want to have an accompanying letter, depending on the country you go to. I've often written letters for patients for that reason. It can really go a long way towards you keeping those products or having potentially $500 worth of stuff dumped in the trash in front of you, and you can't argue about that. Okay, that's just how it is. So also plan carefully, what are you going to take? You don't want to take too many things with you. You don't want to take 25 supplements, in your carry case, or your check-in. So try and cut it down to a minimal of the most important things and leave the rest at home. Better that way, all right? Number 4, take specifics depending where you're going, all right? If I was, for example, to go to Australia, I'd be taking lots of stuff for flies and mosquitoes, because you have a tremendous amount of fly problem, especially when you go out back. Wherever there's cattle, there's going to be flies. Wherever there's going to be flies, you're going to annoy the hell out of you. They'll land all over your body and everywhere, over your face, your eyes, everywhere. And you do get them. So you can definitely get things for that, okay? I like taking essential oils for this reason. And we'll talk about those a little bit later on. If you're going to Antarctica, for example, you really want to be careful with sunburn and your skin and your eyes because of the brightness of the reflection. Same if you go skiing or snowboarding, you'll be looking after your skin quite a lot. And again, there are special preparations to buy and to take for your skin so you don't get fried in the sun. Same with the tropics, okay? So specifics. If you're going to, for example, a country like Asia, like Vietnam, or you could be going to Laos or some of these countries where the food may not be quite in line with what you've been eating, you may well get diarrhea. Okay, it's not that hard to get a loose bowel in an Asian country. Many, many, many people have had that. Probiotics may well be worth it for you to take for that reason. Saccharomyces boulardii, or SB, a beneficial yeast, is very good for traveler's diarrhea. So that could be a good one for you to take. So yeah, the specifics, so depending where you're going, look for some different sandfly or fly repellents or natural ones. Try not to get any with DEET, DEET in them, which is a very toxic chemical, highly effective mosquito repellent, but also linked with cancer. So your health food shop will be able to, work something out for you as well there. Skin moisturizers are quite handy as well to take. Point number 5, be careful with drinking water. Most people get sick at some stage who travel extensively because of something they drank. One of my patients, in fact, was traveling to Mexico, was so thirsty, she couldn't find anything to drink, so she drank water out of a dog bowl, which is not really a clever idea. So she got very, very sick after that and picked up all kinds of diseases. So I wouldn't recommend you drink out of pet bowls. So when I went to India, it's not unusual for an unscrupulous person to fill up an old bottle and crank the lid on really tight and try and sell you that for 10 rupees or whatever, saying it's fresh, clean water, when it could have just come out of a toilet or a sewer 10 minutes before. So just be very careful when you buy beverages from street vendors and even eating from street vendors. I personally don't really do that, but a lot of people do. So the water is one of the highest, one of the substances which almost guarantees a high rate of transmission of diseases. So you need to be very careful with water. Okay, 6, be careful where you eat. Right. And again, I've eaten in some pretty nice restaurants and been very sick as a consequence. And alternatively, I have, when my first travels to India, did eat street food and I didn't have a problem with it. So it depends on your gut, I suppose. But you need to be careful where you eat. In my opinion, if you're traveling, the water and the food are 2 of the likely areas where you're going to get pinged with in terms of your gut. So again, you may want to take some supplements, which we're going to talk about here, which may help. And that's point number 7. Activated charcoal is a very good substance to take with you for that reason, to soak up or mop up toxins. Probiotics. B vitamins can really help some people. Magnesium supplement, I know a lot of patients take when they travel on the airplane. They find it really helps them. Some people take melatonin, which is great for jet lag, for overcoming the jet lag. But the smartest thing you can do is don't drink alcohol when you travel. Minimize alcohol consumption and maximize high quality fresh water intake. You'll feel so much better when you drink water when you travel, and write the alcohol off. Keep the alcohol when you get to a destination and you're sitting there and you want a pina colada near a pool reading a Stephen King book or something, but don't drink alcohol when you're actively traveling, especially in countries where the food is a little bit dodgy. So you're putting alcohol into a gut. It's going to make it hard for the gut to detoxify. Then you're getting this suspect food, and it's an open invitation for a serious gut problem. A lot of young people end up falling down that hole, so just be careful. Places like Bali, I've had too many patients who come back so sick, it took them months or years to recover from doing exactly that. All right. So I hope that gives you a few tips. So my favorite essential oils for travel, look at this, 11 minutes, this crazy video. Lavender oil, okay, is fantastic to take traveling. Tea tree oil, Australian tea tree oil, Teatree. Okay, and tea tree oil is one of the best oils for travel, and well, you read up on it, it does just about everything, all right? And peppermint oil is another one. I take a tiny little bottle of that. I love it. If I get tension headache or stressed or tired or sore feet, I find peppermint to be fantastic. So I take those oils, I take charcoal, I take a probiotic, and depending on the country, yeah, and remember I also take my soap, but that's up to you what you do. So I hope that gives you a bit of a heads up on what to do when you're traveling. Don't forget to click on the link. I think there's something pretty cool in the description box for you guys down below. Hey, thanks for tuning in.